Hello there. Haribo sugar-free gummy bears reviews. As some of you know, recently there has been a lot of attention on Facebook about the Haribo sugarless gummy bears sold through Amazon. Like many of you, I have also read these reviews. Saint Diarrhea's Day Massacre. I purchased these gummy bears thinking sounds like a nice purchase, 5 pounds of delicious candy for a decent price. Can't go wrong. Unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. It can go very wrong. First of all, I made the mistake of not reading the reviews before my purchase, and that was a mistake I will live with for the rest of my life due to the trauma I received after eating 2 handfuls of these. I was excited to try these for the first time, and I will say this, they were surprisingly tasteful for being sugar-free, and I regretfully decided to try less than 2 handfuls within 5 minutes before I had to make a run to Walmart to purchase a few things that didn't include a stockpile of toilet paper. Within 15 minutes of consuming these high-powered laxatives, my stomach was making noises that I should have seen as a message from God warning me, you should turn back around and go home. I excused the funny feeling in my stomach, as I was on a mission to replace a Keurig machine. As I parked my car, I felt my stomach growing more agitated by the minute, making gurgling noises that struck me as unusual, but I proceeded into the store as I really wanted a new coffee machine. God help me. I was literally in the middle of the store looking at small kitchen appliances before one loud gurgle after another, and then I squeezed out a fart that began as a long squeak to a jet propulsion. In a split second, that probably had some people in the store confuse the sound with a gunshot. And probably had some of them ducking for cover. As my situation had just gone from on a 1 to 10 scale beginning with a 3, I might need to use the bathroom at some point, I should make this trip quick, to an instant 12. I'm literally soiling myself in the middle of a Walmart with hand towels and shower towels as my only source of fabric to wipe my ass with. I said F the Keurig, and I ditched my cart and went running all the way to the opposite end of the store to the bathroom, while, what sounded and felt like, I had firecrackers exploding in my underwear. People were probably pointing at me while their kids are laughing. I finally made it to the bathroom to find one stall available. The handicapped stall. Upon entering the bathroom stall while simultaneously crying and pulling my pants down, I jumped on the toilet seat, not realizing it was literally covered in urine, and as I began opening the floodgates, releasing the evil that moments prior had begun rearranging my insides, I realized after the fact that there was no seat paper, and I began holding on for dear life while begging God to kill me, sounding off gunshots out of my ass that most likely had people running out of the store. Use this product at your own risk and ask yourself, was it worth it? If the answer is yes, you should seek a mental health professional. Don't make plans. Dear Christ, what did I just do? So I purchased these as a way to say thank you to the people who steal things from my desk. Needless to say, I did not heed the warnings and devoured approximately 2 cups alone. Let me tell you why these are now on a secured drawer locked away from the people I work with. If I let them eat these, I will get incarcerated for not warning them. At 9:10 p.m. I ate 16 of these. The flavor was beyond good for sugar-free. This is the bait before the cobra attacks. At 9:15 p.m. I left for home. My commute this night was 1.5 hours. Approximately 10 p.m. I hear what can only be perceived as thunder in the far-off distance that rolled like summer storm across the wheat fields of the heartland. I looked towards my belly button, and for the first time ever my back cracked without twisting or moving. I hear my text message go off, and it was my toilet reminding me to get more paper from the hall closet before getting home. I get into my house and left a clothing trail like Hansel and Gretel going into the woods. Grabbing the A+ quality paper, you know, the We Have Company TP, while my intestines were making more noises than an orchestra tuning up before a night of Mozart. Alas, I make it pantsless and sock-free for fear of a flood due to porcelain throne clog. I haven't eaten any Laffy Taffy since 1985. I know one came out. I was on bowl arrest for 20 minutes while I said 2 rosaries and at least 1 prayer in a language I am sure hasn't been written or read from since prior to the Egyptians building pyramids. Unrelieved of my faculties, I head for my bed after a thorough cleaning. I slept for a great while knowing I had nothing left inside of me. Or so I thought. 1:30 a.m. the thunder started again, and outside I hear Auntie M calling Dorothy to get in the cellar. My rear was in gear and I started to tear off down the hall. Another 20 minutes and half roll of extra soft later, I sent out goodbye texts to all my loved ones. Thank God I live alone. I awoke in a daze, crying still on the bowl as round 3 rang in. It was sparse for the rest of the day but was still there and repeating all day. I lost 7 pounds and was dehydrated beyond recognition. This was the best cleanse ever. I assure you. The reviews are right. I am living proof you will survive. But at what cost? Don't try to fight it. I read the very colorful reviews and was still skeptical. The reviews either seemed over the top dramatic or unbelievable. So I decided to take a very scientific, winky face, approach. I waited for a weekend with nothing to do. And here is how the data tracking went. 1. Test subject started with a small handful of gummy bears at 8:45 p.m. About 10 pieces. 2. The test subject noted that the texture is a little chewier than fresh, standard gummy bears but can be easily explained to anyone as being a little stale. The taste was on par, a little less sweet than standard but very acceptable. Not a noticeable difference. 3. About 30 minutes later, the test subject displayed no signs of discomfort. With the precision of a field medic attending a dying man on the battlefield, I upped the dosage. I mean, the test subject then had a full bowl, about 2 decent-sized handfuls or about the size of a small prize or present cellophane bag as if you were to get a special treat bag at work. It was very scientific measuring, obviously. 4. Still nothing. I was about to write a negative review on Amazon. Oh man, I was upset. 5. The test subject noted feeling a discomfort like cramping in the upper GI tract. It wasn't gurgling yet, it was just a hard-like discomfort. This feeling started about 1 hour after the larger dose. 6. About 1.5 hours after initial intake, the first urge to release was intense and did not allow any time for delay. Do not laugh when it happens, you will not hold back. 7. For the next 3 hours, the test subject sat down to pee from the anus several times. It is not extreme pain or smell like what is experienced with sickness or food poisoning. It is more like a purge. Don't try to fight it. 8. Based on the experience of the test subject, I deduce that these gummy bears will not allow for productivity. This is not painful and it is not residual, so once it leaves your system, you are done. The test subject went back to normal without issues. 9. So to reiterate, not painful, not something you could hold in, short duration overall but perfect lag time from intake to explosion. This is an ideal colon cleansing agent. I think the test subject lost 5 pounds of water weight in the process. I'm not sure though. I didn't weigh myself. It's not like I'm a freaking scientist. These things are basically bagged, multicolored, little satans. I found out about these little gems via the interwebs a month or so ago. I talked to my office colleagues and we decided it was the perfect gift for our field crews who complain about us office guys being soft. We set these out on a Friday, and immediately the guys dug into the sugarless gummy deliciousness. Sadly, it took too long for the affects to set in on that Friday. Apparently by around 7 o'clock that night all hell broke loose. Guy 1. I was at the bar after work with my wife. All of a sudden I felt extreme warmth over my body, shakiness, and the worst stomach cramps I've ever had. I hobbled to the bathroom and had barely sat down when I unleashed a rainbow fury of porcelain cracking excrement. He didn't say excrement. I used a half roll to clean myself up, checked for cracks, and flushed the gummy bear apocalypse down the drain. I left the bar with my wife for the 9-minute drive home. I didn't make it. He had roughly 4 handfuls about 3 to 4 hours before. He spent all day Saturday on his throne and in his recount said his O-ring actually got so chapped he was bleeding, and asked if there was some medicine for that. Fast forward to Monday, they haven't figured it out yet. Guy 2. I felt so bloated that I wanted to die, then out of nowhere my stomach hurt so bad I was almost doubled over. I tried to get in the bathroom, but it was occupied. I went to the front office bathroom and kinda made it. I found out he actually sharted and threw his underwear away. He also spent the day with a wad of TP shoved in his butt crack just in case. This is when things got bad. My desk is 30 away from the bathroom easy and the stench was just I can't even describe it. We sprayed Lysol, but it just smelled like someone crapped and died on a pine tree. Guy 3. I feel bad for this guy and his partner. They got called out on a service call in 8-degree weather to climb 40 feet in the air to look at something. Second-hand info from his partner: Dave farted non-stop from the time he left the office till we go to the job site, 20-minute drive in a red cab box truck. I rolled the window halfway down, and luckily had some gum to get away from the stench. Dave starts complaining about how bad his stomach messed up, but climbs up to where he needs to be, with Guy 3 on the ground. Dave starts his diagnosis, and then suddenly just stands straight up, looks down at Guy 3, and scuttles to the ladder. He made it down 40-foot ladder in less than 45 seconds and stiff-legged it to the box truck. Guy 3 checks on him 12 minutes later. The smell was fn horrendous. He tried to make it to the 5-gallon bucket. Note, our line of work, it's what you use with a bag in it, but he didn't quite make it. He had gotten his coveralls off, jeans off, underwear off when it hit. He sprayed 4 feet away from where he was with liquid poo/bears on the box truck floor, and finally made it to the bucket. Turns out they had to scrounge around the job site to find material to use as oil dry to clean up the mess. Trumpets blowing in angelic choirs, dying and screaming wildebeests in the plains of Africa. As some of you know, recently there has been a lot of attention on Facebook about the Haribo sugarless gummy bears sold through Amazon. Like many of you, I have also read these reviews. They are extremely hilarious. As I read, I had tears streaming down my face and laughed so hard that my silent laugh came out. It was one of the best of workouts I have ever had. But, I was skeptical that they were true. My husband and I even wondered if those reviews we read were a secret creative writing contest. So, in my need to know, I bought some of the gummies in question. I waited 2 days for them to arrive on my doorstep. Then, like the curious cat, at 9 p.m. at night I sat down on the couch and ate 14 very tasty gummies. Then I waited. Skeptical. An hour and a half later my belly started rumbling. Gas rumbles carry a very different tune than hunger rumbles. But nothing happened other than that. So I went to bed. During the night, however, I was awakened several times by lengthy thunder rolls under the covers, all produced by me. So as the night progressed I felt my stomach grow with gas. I also felt like the thunderous gas was about to go from mild annoyance to intense sharting. I just couldn't tell when that would happen. And since I was experiencing gas bombs about 1 per every 10 minutes, each lasting about 10 to 15 seconds, I figured I better get to the bathroom. After reading the reviews and experiencing it thus far, I knew what to expect next. So my first few trips to the bathroom were safe. The only experience was the massive echoes coming from my toilet. Picture every sound imaginable, from trumpets blowing in angelic choirs to dying and screaming wildebeests getting eaten alive in the plains of Africa. And yes, you could even hear the lionesses growling in the undertones. The smell was something of a mix of dead and rotting skunk to sewage plant filled with corpses. Probably my 10th trip to the throne and the sharting began. Explosive. It made my toilet look like it got sprayed with sticky brown confetti. I was impressed. Over and over that happened until the giant finally came at about 8:30 a.m., as my rectum proceeded to give birth to a large-size poo child into the commode. I completely unloaded. I am pretty sure I lost about 5 pounds. My poor toilet was completely unprepared for the act of war that those 14 colorful little bears raged upon it. Now my toilet is so clogged that the plunger won't even work. I have to wait for a plumber to come clean it out this week sometime. You would have thought it ended there. No. The rolling gas and bloat continued. But I felt the need to go to the gym. I am on a workout streak right now, and I didn't want to break my trend. I thought, no problem. I'll just take 4 Gas X. After eating my minty Gas X, I headed off to the gym with my sweet-smelling breath and my death becomes her smelling bad dunk. It takes about 7 minutes to get to the gym from my house. It got thick in my car. I obeyed all traffic laws for fear of being pulled over and arrested for attacking the officer with lethal gas. My stomach protested the whole ride. Do we have to go? And are you sure you want to do this? I plan on making your life a living hell. Gas worked its way out of me 2 more times from the car to the YMCA gym doors. I allowed that to happen because I had a feeling it might get real in the gym. It was Thursday, yoga day, but due to my situation I decided to forego yoga. I just knew all that bending and relaxing was not going to go in my favor. So I spent my time lifting in the second floor gym. But, before I did that I decided to go one more round in the women's only locker room. I was hoping that the room would be empty because I was going to be loud. Not so. It was filled with many old biddies walking about in their naked flabby skin. I guess water aerobics just got out. Moving on, this time I held toilet paper to my sphincter in order to muffle the chorus. It worked, but I had to keep switching out the toilet paper bunch because of sharting. Luckily I kept my hands clean. After 5 minutes in the stall I decided I better head up and get to my workout. I was expecting the biddies to come knocking to check in on me. Make sure that death smell wasn't me actually dying. I spent an hour working out upper body. I didn't want any jostling causing a slip up down under. At about midday the gas eased up. But it didn't stop until after a full 24 hours. So I decided that was enough for me. I took the candies to my husband's office. He is an OBGYN. I put the colorful little bears in a pretty glass candy bowl. I warned all his staff not to eat them. A midwife didn't believe my warning, however. She got to have her own experience during which she had to deliver 2 babies. Now we are watching the gummies slowly disappear because the nighttime cleaning staff always steals my husband's candy that I leave for him in his office. I am pretty sure whoever it is will have made an appointment with a GI doctor by now because they can't figure out why their stomach and intestines are trying to kill them every night. Hope you enjoyed my cautionary tale.